back murderous aura flew slowly to the gate, and everyone still didn't understand what was happening. At the same time the door cover with that black aura flew, and the door slammed shut, and everyone was shocked to seeing this situation.
Round-headed guy and the wire-bearded guy said in panic at the entrance. Is it planning to trap us in?
Suddenly the rough guy shouted, "Get out of the way." Then he held his shield tightly to rush into the door, to put shield corner to trying to open the door with his full strength, causing shield damage as soon as he rushed in the door. The door fully closed, the rough guy's shield got a crack and he was pushed a meter away. He angrily said, "Damn, just what is that monster?"
On the other side the monster smiling, and the aura flowing around him. He looked at everyone at this moment. The voice of Captain Choi said, "A hobgoblin chief priest." He frowned and said, "He's a C-rank rare monster. Monsters that appear with low probability within the gate."
After hearing Captain Choi, the round-head guy and beard guy said in shock, "A rare monster?"
Both the brown-haired guy and rough guy also hear the Captain Choi and said in shock, "It's SC rank as well?"
Jin Tae-kyung, after listening to the captain's Choi, he gasped, his face turned red and thinking, what the hell? Why is there a C-rank monster inside an E-rank gate?
The captain turned to look the other side, and then mentioned, looking at the black evil energy that was about to gradually form a human. It was still making strange sounds. Gradually its feet appeared. After a while of absorbing enough evil energy, the monster's feet appeared more clearly after absorbing all dead body evil black energy. Looking at its huge shape, he complete his form. Captain Choi said, "Another hobgoblin chief warrior. It's a C-rank rare monster as well."
Everyone was stunned. Only a few words appeared in everyone's mind. We're going to die?
The team leader saw that everyone's morale was low and spoke up, "But this doesn't mean this is the end for us." He pulled out his sword and said solemnly, "If we can kill that chief priest first, we'll still have some chance of survival." The teammates on his behind was extremely excited. He glanced behind him and said, "But in order for me to accomplish, warrior leader," he was roaring and approaching Captain Choi said, "You guys have to temporarily hold off the goblin." Hearing that, everyone fell into dead silence. Captain Choi turned his head around and said, "Just hold him back for 5 minutes."
The rough guy raised his hand to stop him and said, "Wait a second, Leader Choi. Do you have any other way?"
Captain Choi, without bothering to answer the question, he rushed towards the monster and unleashed the move, letting the wind accelerate.
Everyone screamed madly, "This bastard!" Jin Tae-kyung's huge backpack was put aside. He looked at it and thought, they say that unlucky bastards will even break their noses when they fall backwards. He was sweating profusely and nervously thinking, I can't believe I'm meeting an intermediate boss. Monsters over $399. Not one, but two as well. The teammates holding shields stood in front, 2 people holding bows stood behind to defend, and Jin Tae-kyung was trembling, holding a spear in the middle. He thought, besides, I thought you guys told me not to fight. You damn said I was just a luggage boy. What can a F rank hunter like me do?
"It's coming." Rough guy pointed. The warrior chief priest rushing towards them, rough guy shouted, "Archer, don't hold back on your mana. Hit it with everything that you've got." Seeing lots of arrows flying towards him, the warrior chief priest immediately swung his sword to send it flying away. Rough guy ordered everyone, extended the distance, and continued shooting. The red-eyed goblin growled menacingly. It bounced up, causing all the surrounding rocks to break it. Screamed and flew towards Jin Tae-kyung group, they all shocking to seeing it. Rough guy tried to calm down and said, "Take cover." And boom, the chief warrior monster straight down to the group of people, everyone flying away, cause of critical hit. The rock piece scattered around kicked the brown-haired guy in the head and stomach. The guy with the beard was hit in the eye and they cried out in pain.
After seeing his teammates in pain, the round-head guy cover himself because he has a shield to protect him from flying rocks. He bent down and turned around to talk to rough guy Hung Min. Sok Ho and Jong Min are both his bad condition.
Hyung Nim, shouted the monster in your behind. And suddenly a booming noise rang out, the blood flowing all around with that hit. After seeing that, Hyung Nim and Jin Tae-kyung turned their attention towards him. Hyung Nim exclaimed, "Damn!" He suddenly named Jin Tae-kyung.
He was startled and replied, "Yes?"
Hyung Nim said and solemnly, "While I keep that thing distracted, take the others and hide."
Jin Tae-kyung tightly held the spear and replied, "Okay." Looking at him, Hyung Nim, confronting the goblin one-on-one, Jin Tae-kyung thought to himself, is he going to be okay by himself?
The goblin growled with angers. Looking at him, Hyung Nim roared and unleashed his power, increasing his strength and strengthening his shield. Hyung Nim muscles gained strength, even the shield became stronger. Hyung Nim put the shield on the ground, then he proactively rushed towards the goblin's super attacking speed. The goblin saw that and also prepared himself. Hyung Nim gritted his teeth, his forehead showing his veins, cause of anger. The goblin moved with that hand holding a mace and hit with full power. Hyung Nim didn't hold powerful attack, he bent down, causing the shield to crumble.
Seeing that Hyung Nim had fallen, Jin Tae-kyung cursed once. Scared images appeared in his head. He shook his head and thought, why do these kinds of things keep happening to me? If this continues, everyone will die again. There were still a few tears in the corner of his eyes, and he glanced towards team leader Choi. He was enthusiastically fighting with the C-rank monster. He thought to himself, it's been more than 5 minutes, damn it. So Jin Tae-kyung slowly held the spear and approached the front. He thought, now it only depends on me. At this moment the goblin was trying to grab Hyung-nim's head. He said, seriously, I have to stop this bastard at all costs, please make it work. Make it. He prepared to launch a one-hit attack. The goblin saw movement and immediately looked at him with sharp eyes. His spear stabbed into the goblins, but the spear was also bent, but he let go of Hyung-nim. The goblin growled. He looked at the spear stabbing his butt. Jin Tae-kyung's eyes were extremely determined. A second later he could only put down his spear and tearfully said, it's really bad. The goblin raised his arm to strike Jin Kyung, who was helplessly crying and kneeling on the ground. Suddenly there was a rang sounds in his head and he quickly opened his eyes. Clang. The system hasn't appeared for a long time. Now a notification appears.
Synchronization is complete. Your system has been transferred.
After system synchronization complete, the next second he was holding a spear to block the goblin's stone mace. His inner core is gradually brightening, then it burst into flames. A stream of power spread throughout his inner core. His eyebrows furrowed, his eyes became determined. The goblin raised his stone mace, it swung up and growled terrifyingly. Jin Tae-kyung's whole body is surrounded by a stream aura that flowing on his inner core. His eyes became cold. Then again system notification appeared in front of him.
Synchronization is complete. Your system has been transferred.
After notification he using his QI sense. After having the support system he now saw the goblin level. His level is 45 Hobgoblin Chief Warrior. Jin Tae-kyung laughed loudly and said, interesting, so this is how it's going to be. The goblin screamed again and rushed towards Jin Tae-kyung with his mace for attack. Now that he was possessed he avoided it easily because he was using the Jin family's footwork technique. Seeing that he couldn't beat him, the goblin screamed in anger and using his full force to attack Jin Tae-kyung and crush with his mace. But it's just a flash. Jin Tae-kyung quickly dodged it and become more closer to him. Jin Tae-kyung glanced at it and said coldly, first technique of the Jin family's spear technique. Brutal head of the dragon. He swung the spear and cut off the goblin's arm holding the stone mace. He turned around again from front to back and saw the goblin and using second teaching, whirlwind of the black snake. And cut the stomach with it. The beaten goblin screams in pain. Jin Kyung uses the third technique and fourth technique to strike directly spear towards goblin. Then using fifth form continuous attacks in front of his body, didn't giving him any chance to strike. The goblin screamed in pain. He pushed back for force attack and hit on the rock's walls. Blood also spurted out. He lost his strength and fall down on his knees. Seeing Jin Tae-kyung slowly approach, the goblin groaned in pain. Jin Tae-kyung looked down and said, I guess I don't even have to use my one-strike skill on you. He picked up the spear and stabbed it straight into its throat. After killing it, the ding-ding sound echoed in his head. He looked at the notification, then stroked his chin thinking, I totally forgot about the sound of the system notification, but it's thanks to the system that I was able to defeat this monster.
You have eliminated the Chief Warrior monster. Your level up.
Suddenly the voice Mr. Jin Tae-kyung approaching. Captain Choi also killed the Chief Warrior monster black magic user. He looked Jin Tae-kyung, who just defeated the warrior chief. He trembled and said you, with surprised look, and asked, what is your true identity?
After the raid, the people who were in charge of the gates were thrown into an uproad. 2 mid-tier rare monsters? Inside an E-rank gate? Only 4 E-rank hunters stuffed injuries. But thankfully, they weren't in critical condition. Whenever an incident like this occurs, it's required by law that the government compensate any damages to gears, medical bills that had to be paid, and any raid rewards lost. So if you were to combine everything that we earned from this raid, we made quite a profit. After the 4 injured hunters were transported to an ambulance, Leader Choi was escorted to the Civil Service Department in order to give his report. After sitting on a car and thinking a while, then Command open character profile. Jin Tae-kyung amazed to looked at his profile showing again in front of him. He said his character profile has changed. The things that affects him on Murim have all disappeared. Then he thinking about his old character profile, Fame 500, son of a noble. Shame of the family. It's all disappeared. Well then again, it's not like I'm the son of a rich noble here, nor am I the sleeping dragon and shit. Then he command open quest menu.
Quest menu appeared. Betrayed, you have found out who the betray was. Regroup with the main forces and alert them of the betrayer. Afterwards, lead your people to victory. Rank, peak, restrictions, only for Jin Tae-kyung. Objective, eliminate the betrayer, incomplete. Emerge victorious, incomplete. Quest reward, enormous amount of experience and fame. Valuable steel box. Quest failure, death.
Jin Tae-kyung frowned looking at that announcement. He remembered that time he silently assessed, was it telling him to return to the Murim? Suddenly realizing something, he's silently sitting in the car. He thought to himself, the system still exists in the real world. That means the Murim world is not a game. Maybe. Suddenly team leader Choi pressed his face against the glass door to observe him. As soon as Jin Tae-kyung looked over, he was startled and said, "Damn it, you scared me." The captain turned around to the other side inside the car. He silently lamented, "What a jerk." When team leader Choi put his head in, he immediately asked what happened.
He leaned back in car seat inside and said, "I gave them quick report on what went down, and they should reach out to me within the next few days. I'm sure you will also be investigated, Mr. Tae-kyung."
Jin Tae-kyung thought to himself, the investigation. I don't want to see them again. Then he said with fearful voice, the thing that I requested earlier.
Captain Choi looked at Jin Tae-kyung. He remembered that time in the cave.
Jin Tae-kyung said, "Would it be possible for you to keep this a secret?"
Leader Choi replied, "Are you asking me to give a false statement?"
Now Jin Tae-kyung thought to himself, to begin with, I don't even know if this system will be permanent or if it's a temporary thing. In situation like this, it's best that nothing gets leaked out to the public.
Captain Choi suddenly looked at his watch and said, "Mr. Jin Tae-kyung."
Jin Tae-kyung replied, "Yes."
Captain Choi showed his watch to Jin Tae-kyung and said, "Take a look."
Jin Tae-kyung, after hearing it, looked at the watch and asked, "It's 2 o'clock.
Captain Choi replied, "It's made from in company using a C-rank magic gem. It's also been enchanted with some defensive magic, so I can use it as a shield during emergency situations."
Jin Tae-kyung nervously said, okay.
Captain Choi started the car and said, "Let's grab some food," and asked, "Do you like premium Korean steak?"
Jin Tae-kyung replied, "I've never really eaten one."
Captain Choi took Jin Tae-kyung to the Korean restaurant. The meat was sizzling and being grilled. The order list is on the table. Captain Choi said, "I told them that I was the one who subjugate them. The chief priest and the chief warrior."
Jin Tae-kyung, who was happily eating meat, replied, "Wow. Thank you. I'm sorry for making such a burdensome request, even though this is our first time meeting each other."
Captain Choi asked then, "Will you join my guild?"
Jin Tae-kyung didn't expect that his mouth was full with food spit out for unexpected request. With surprised expression he asked, "Huh? Me?